my name is Mrs. Jiritmwa Morgak Goyit. I'm the first of 4 children. I'm a mother, a wife, a social advocate, and a politician. I was born in Zaria. Later, my childhood in Plateau here, Mangu to be specific. And then I've spent like the last 20 years here in Jos. I schooled in Unijos. I hold a B.Ed in chemistry, and I later on switched to gender and have a MA in gender studies. I have a couple of other certificates I have done, some online and some in school here. Well, I pride myself by saying I wasn't born with a silver spoon, neither was I born without a spoon. I come from a very humble background. My dad was an auxiliary nurse in ABU Zaria, with my mom as a full-time housewife. Thanks to that, she devoted all her time to taking care of us up until late 90s or mid-90s, where she went back to school and got her NCE. And so that, I'm bringing that to bear so you understand growing up. Growing up was not a luxurious one, but it was one that was filled with a lot of parenting, committed parenting from both parents. I had parents who were not so much on the educated side, but they were so informed about the need to train us very well. And they did that very well spiritually, training us by making us understand that for everything we need to do, we need the foundation of God. I had parents that were so much believers in what I can do. My dad was so much one that taught us that we can be whoever we want to be. Little wonder I am who I am today, perhaps because of how much he helped us, guided us that we can be whatever we want to be. The sky will just be our limit. My dad actually wanted me to get a master's maybe 1 year after my first degree, go back, roll in and get my master's. He actually wanted me to get a PhD before the age of 40. A dream, sadly, I've not been able to fulfill, but it's not one that is far from being fulfilled. So growing up was one that we had a well-knitted family. I enjoyed family life. I enjoyed, looking back, I will say that I really enjoyed growing up, because part of who I am today is as a result of where I'm coming from, and all the credit should go to my parents. I consult. I do a lot more of consulting. Over the years, I've been into development work, where I give my expertise. I have learned and I now give my expertise in issues that pertains to women, the girl child, and development issues, and with more interest in politics and social justice. I think politics is somewhat inbuilt. The practice for me, or the passion, is somewhat inbuilt. Because when I went into the university, I started from the remedial level. And when I was during my remedial, I participated actively in student unionism. And it just flowed. I met friends, some from home, and they just dragged me into, let's go and campaign for this SUG president. This one is running for SUG treasurer. And that was how it started. And gradually, it slipped into the state politics. I'll come back home and then my uncles, my friends were going for the circular campaign and I'll join them. So that's how it wasn't a planned thing. It wasn't something that I saw someone doing and I really admired. I just found myself doing it. And I think I was doing it well because I wasn't a pushover. I joined politics, school, campus politics, and I was manning the drum, holding the megaphone to campaign for candidates I was supporting. And so it flowed, and I think in 2007, the then essay to the governor of Plateau State, there was a need for a youth representative from each senatorial zone in the country. The then president, late President Umaru Yar'Adua, wanted to start what is now called the Nigerian Youth Parliament. So every senatorial district was to send one representative to represent that senatorial district, so youth senator. And then the SA Youth, I think because of my participation, like I said, from school and into the state politics, nominated me to represent Plateau Central. So I think that was my inroad to the main politics, not campus politics. I first ran for office in 2014. 2014-2015 elections. I ran for House of Reps. So my previous participation in youth parliament activities exposed me to the conversation about young people, women, persons with disabilities need to participate in politics. And I remember I was at an International Republican Institute funded program in Lagos, where we were all challenged. We identified problems that were bedeviling young people in Nigeria. And after identifying those problems, we found out that, okay, somehow you will need one of you to go speak on those issues. And somehow I came back home, shared with my husband, shared with few friends. And that was where the thought of running for office came from in 2014. I ran for House of Reps. Then a lot of people were saying, why House of Reps? This part of the country, I think it's also practiced in so many other states. We practice this zoning and we do it religiously. So if a thing is zoned to that other side and you insist on contesting, no one even pays attention to you. So then the State House of Assembly was not zoned to where I come from, but the House of Reps was zoned to where I come from. And I was already at the age where you can run for House of Reps, so I ran for it. I lost the elections, but I won in so many fronts, so many other fronts. It launched me into the active political participation. The active, as in active in capital letters, active participation. I got a scholarship. I went for a short course at Yale University because I ran for office. So while others felt I was being stubborn, while others felt that one was just wasting time, it exposed me, it launched me. I got that opportunity, all expense paid, Yale University. I got a diploma from that course. Well, it's important we identify the challenge, where it's coming from, then we'll proffer the solution. Now, women themselves are not the architects of those challenges. Someone handed it over to them. Someone sat down and said, their religion said, you shouldn't participate. It's not the woman saying my religion said. Someone says, their culture says a woman should not participate. Someone says, their culture says, we shouldn't give you inheritance because you're going to get married in another home. So I would feel that whoever it is that said should be the one that should get the message that these women can deliver positively to nation building. Give them a chance. You who said should be the one to give them the chance. You have daughters. You identified someone's daughter and married as a wife. You saddled the responsibility of keeping a home with her, and she has done that successfully. I think she can also do outside work successfully. And women themselves, research has shown that women are custodians of patriarchy. Someone came up with the theory of patriarchy and handed it over to women. And they religiously accepted it, guarded it, and nobody is challenging the status quo. So women themselves need to come out, have these conversations. They are your husbands, they are your sons. It worries me. These sons we churn out year in, year out. Everybody gives you this beautiful story of how his mother, if not for his mother, oh my mother. But that same son, in turn, does not see that another woman outside can build this nation. Another woman can build. So why not bring all of those your mother? All of these men sit and you gist and you tell yourselves, if not for my mother, I wouldn't have had an education. If not for my mother, I would have died when I was sick. If not for my mother, why not bring a collection of those mothers? You can imagine a collection of all those, if not my mother. Come and give them leadership. And you can imagine, and all of these mothers were illiterate mothers. Most of these mothers that we all pride, we all say glowing tributes to them, were illiterate mothers. But they were able to produce you who feel you can be president today. They were able to produce you who feel you can be governor. Try them as governors. Who are they going to produce? If those illiterate mothers who didn't have the empowerment we today are asking for were able to produce you, if you give them the opportunity, a collection of them, most often we just give one, and when the one person fails, of course she should even fail because that's the first time you're bringing her on the stage. She's confused, she's looking at this culture, that culture, and wondering, am I even in the right place? She takes all of the time even thinking, am I even in the right place? And then before you know, the time is up. And then peradventure she fails. The whole world uses her as an example. A lot of men have failed us. And each time one man fails, we bring another man. We gladly bring another man and try. Why not? In an event, you bring a woman that fails. Bring another woman. Besides, we have, late Dora Kuni. We have Mama Gomok from Plateau. We have a lot of them. We have our mother, Pauline Talent, who have succeeded in every assignment you have given her. It's not been an easy one, but it's not different from any other that our mothers before now did. Our mothers used to go to the farm, some of them go for trading, and they'll still come back and man the home front. So I've been doing my best. I know I might be lacking in one or two ways, but I've been doing my best. I try not to take a lot on my hands. I look like a busy person, maybe on social media or the perception people have. But it will interest you to know that there are days I do not step out of my gate. So long as I do not have anything doing, I'll be in the house and do not even see the gate. I don't even go out of the gate, let alone engage. So I don't jump from nothing to nothing. I don't insist on doing something that is not profitable. When I'm busy, there are peak season. Every career has its peak season and off season. So when it's peak season, I know I'm off. And when it's not the season for whatever I'm doing. For example, there was COVID. So there wasn't a lot of consultancy work except for online work. So I can't be found outside, just jumping around, moving from one place. I was always at home. And when it's time for politicking, I'm running in Kanki, but I am here. Perhaps I do not have some certain commitments as at today, and so I'm here. So that's what I try to do. I don't take a lot of things. You call me and I have something doing. If I have something very important doing in my kids' school, except where the other it's time bound and will pass, I don't turn down their school activities. I try to do that which needs to be done. Because if you can't rob Peter and pay Paul. That's one virtue that my parents have taught me. You need to do the right thing at the right time. Because no matter how right you do it at the wrong time, it will still give you the expected result. So I try to balance my work. And like I said, I don't lie to myself. I don't take everything. Come and speak here, then I'm there. Come and speak here. I had a text message yesterday to be on one of the radio stations for 8 a.m. But I turned it down. My reasons are this. My husband is not in town, so I was the one that was going to do school runs. I needed to go to school they have the open day reading or open week of reading. So I have accepted that I was going to their school today. So I needed to go drop them in school, come back home, get set, and go for their school and then school runs. So if I had accepted to go for another radio program, I might crash. So I just told myself, no, I can't do all of those. I've arranged the day and I turned that down. So it will look as if, you turned down an invitation, but I looked at the reality of what my time can give me and I picked what I could do. So that's how I try to just balance. I pick this, say sorry here, say yes there, say no here, say okay there. A little of that, always asking for God's guidance. First of all, we need to identify that we come from a region where mentoring is alien. That's one. Second, when we now understood there's need for mentoring, I think we turned it upside down. Mentoring in Africa, mentoring in Nigeria, mentoring in Plateau State means someone who should be giving you money. That's largely what I have observed. That's the second point. The third point is there are two forms of mentoring. There's the direct and indirect mentoring. The direct mentoring is one who identifies you or you identify. The mentee identifies the mentor or the mentor identifies the mentee. The person either calls you, come, I like what you are doing, or I see that you can do this, join me as we do this. Or, Sama, I like what you're doing, I want to be like you, I want to do this. That's direct mentoring. The indirect mentoring is one that you see someone from afar and like everything or like a particular thing about that person. You follow the person. And when I say follow, might not be the social media following. You read the person's books, you watch the person's movies, you follow the person's event. If it's someone who is always on the news, you try to see, you follow that person. Now, young people need to identify which one can they get. In an event where you want the direct mentoring and you can't get, go for the indirect. In an event where you want the indirect and you can't get, go for the direct mentoring. A lot of mentors are afraid that young mentees feel they need to be giving them stipends. And so in an event where I cannot give you stipends, I run away from mentoring you. I've been privileged. I didn't have direct mentors. The direct one that come from the word go, I didn't have. And if I must tell you my story, I think my story is one that belongs to the group that come to the table with something, and then when people identify you with it, they now add up to what you have. I had to put in a lot of my own effort. I mentioned earlier that I went for an event in Lagos. That event was put together by Young Stars Foundation in 2013. Young Stars made us pay a token. The founder said if people don't pay token to attend whatever or to gain whatever they want to gain, they have the tendency of just brushing it away. So you need to commit to it before he does. And when we went for that program, we paid registration fee. We got more than that from the donors that donated for the program. And that it was their identified International Republican Institute that subsequently sent me to Yale. So you can imagine young people not wanting to pay registration fee to go attend, to go get knowledge. They want it to come at a free cost. They want mentors to pay for them. So you miss a lot because you're waiting for people to identify you. First of all, let me thank those who nominated me. I didn't think I belonged to that category, and with how much I've been engaged lately, I didn't even think people still remember Jiritmwa so much to be nominated. So thank you so much for counting me worthy to be nominated. And then when I got the information that I was nominated, I was like, oh dear, going through the list, you find out that there are people who are real-time on social media. I belong to the generation that is actually on social media quite okay. But because of how much of real-time things we do, we're not so much on social media like some of the nominees that were nominated with me. So I was like, okay, that I got nominated, it's enough for me. It means I'm doing something that I should continue doing to inspire young people. And then the final was that I won. If it was something to prove, I was like, how did I win? Do I still know people that much that they voted for me? I was so excited. I didn't, you know, people voted, and to vote, you don't need to vote with money, but you needed to have data to vote. I didn't buy data for one person. I challenge whoever, I didn't buy data for anybody, but people out of their own hard-earned data voted me, and like you said, I got massive votes. That alone, you know, we take a lot of things for granted. That alone for me shows that people are taking note of what you're doing, and people appreciate quality things. Thank you for this platform. We cannot appreciate you enough. You would think you're doing one of those things, but I don't think it's just one of those things. That it has survived these years. I remember I was a panelist on the first edition, and it keeps growing. I must say you're doing a great job, and I pray that it moves from Plateau Man of the Year up to a National Man of the Year award. That's my prayer for you. And I pray that government institutions understand this thing and celebrate the right people at the right time, just like you are doing. May God continue to strengthen you and clear the coast for you. I know it's not an easy one moving. You also get bashing. Some people will think that the awards are bought, but I am a witness. I don't know the process. Nobody met me about the process or about anything, and here I am today. So I believe in the credibility of the Plateau Man Award.